We all need our hype man. Someone who celebrates our achievements, someone who supports us at our lows, someone who pushes us to do our best. It's a role that many will take turns fulfilling in our lives, and a role we often find ourselves in for others that we care about. A role that is performed out of love. Tamon's B-side has been my anime of choice this past winter season, and for good reason. It's a fun, upbeat story about a girl who finds herself becoming the housekeeper for her number one idol. And not just any girl. If you're familiar with oshikatsu, Utage participates in that level of fandom, dedicating her all to her favorite little guy, or her oshi. So imagine her shock when her favorite little guy, whom she idolizes, is not only one of her clients, but also extremely depressed, anxious, and has a very low self-esteem. The whole concept of Tamon's B-side is just, what if your idols weren't who they appeared to be? And you loved them anyway. Throughout the series, we learn that the different members of Face are nothing like their personas. Everyone is doing a bit, handcrafted to make the most marketable boy band. And as a girl accidentally on the inside, Utage is increasingly put in situations where she's got to separate the person from their act, and that doesn't stop her from supporting her favorite group. Well, admiration and support for everyone except for Ori. Mostly kidding. She still recognizes that he puts a lot of work in. She just can't stand him. In fact, knowing that it's all an act is more impressive to her. The boys, specifically Tamon, puts in so much work, doubly so since these personalities they play don't come naturally to these guys. And I find that level of devotion beautiful. Utage is kind of a lot sometimes, but her praises don't fall on deaf ears. In fact, Tamon's manager even notices how he's doing a bit better behind the scenes. Her support means a lot to Tamon and to the rest of the group. Yeah, this is also a romance series, and she is becoming the one person to truly see Tamon and not judge. But Utage's support pushes Tamon to work harder, to do better about taking care of himself. And the risk of losing that support is something that weighs heavy on him. As a romance series, conflicts can come in the form of love triangles or misunderstandings, like when Utage wishes Ori good luck because she knows Tamon will want to compete with him at their best, but Tamon thinks she might swap oshis. I think it's really fun that the romance in this series, at least for Tamon, is based on knowing someone cares so much about you that they will support you regardless of how you see yourself. He doesn't see himself as someone worth caring about. He considers himself garbage, a waste of air, someone who's functionally beneath everyone else. But at the same time, bringing joy and entertainment to others is deeply important to him, which is why he became an idol in the first place, despite believing he can't do it. So to see Utage and the way she's filled with joy because of him hits really hard, especially when that joy isn't hindered by his gloomy persona in real life. The moment that really hits home just how unconditional Utage's support is when Tamon loses the competition to be the new face of Face. He's convinced himself that if he loses, he disappoints his fans, and lets Utage down, and she will not want to support him anymore. But she's just happy to see Tamon continue performing, to continue moving hearts. She sees the work that's put in, and while him no longer being the face is not ideal, she still adores him as an idol. He's not less than he was as a non-leading member. He's still bringing his all to the stage, and that's what draws fans in the first place. Tamon's B-side is like a case study in seeing how much unconditional support from just one person can change someone's life. Tamon becomes open to new experiences, like love, as Utage encourages him to think better of himself, to consider himself as someone worth taking care of. It's hard to really fall for someone and believe in your relationship if you see yourself as someone who's undeserving of such affection. And while Tamon certainly isn't the epitome of self-love, he's at least making an effort to meet his needs, which is more than what he was doing at the start of the story. And he's taking the care that Utage gives him and trying his best to extend that to his bandmates, going out of his way to let Natsuki know he's noticed something is off and is worried about him. Utage really found this guy, held together by duct tape, barely doing enough to keep up with his job, and has aggressively supported him into just an ounce of self-care. It does help, though, that she is accommodating to his mental health issues. Tamon is horribly depressed, and that does make it hard to take care of yourself. Having Utage leave pre-prepared meals and aggressively enforcing positive affirmations does a lot. Negative self-talk does a lot of harm to a person and their mindset, and Tamon is like the king of negative self-talk, but with Utage consistently, maybe not yelling at him, but being very aggressive in her positive opinions about Tamon and kind of making him recite that as well, I think actually is a way that some people have learned to deal with the negative perception of themselves. So she's kind of like a really aggressive therapist. I also think it's really interesting that other characters like Keito and Ori either soften towards Utage after seeing how she supports Tamon, or even falling for her as well. Although Ori, I think, also has some added rivalry here that pushes him into wanting her, since she's not interested in him at all, but he is moved by the support she shows, not just to Tamon, but to Face as a whole. Utage supports Ori because that's what's best for Tamon. But that doesn't stop Ori from feeling touched by her care when she's in a position of taking care of him. Because at the end of the day, while Tamon may be her Oshi, she does still have a lot of admiration and love and support for Face as a whole. And it's through her finding space to care about Ori as an extension of Tamon that I think leads to them being friends. Friends might be a little strong of a word. I think they're friends, but in a frenemies kind of way. And that counts to me. I really enjoy how this series shows supporting someone as an act of love, and how, in the case of Tamon, that love shifts from a distant adoration to friendly care and to something more. We basically speedrun through all the ways a person can love someone, minus familial love, because they're not related. I've only been watching the anime, so I can't really give a full, in-depth, analysis of this series and the way that Utage's support really helps change and uplift the other members of Face, but we're seeing it in, the first, are we on 9 episodes now? Season 1's not even done, and we're already seeing how she has touched the lives of everyone in Face. I mean, even Keito, who doesn't really need her support, is still learning that, hey, not every fangirl is dangerous. And while that's not as serious as Tamon learning to take care of himself, it's still affecting Keito's worldview in a way that I find really fun. And Utage's support comes from such a pure and genuine place that she knows the dangers of getting close to an idol. She knows that if the world, the public, were to know how close she was to the members of Face, that would be a scandal. And she takes some precautions in protecting her favorite boy group. And I think Keito sees that level of care she has for the entire group and levels with her, because Keito also cares very strongly about this group, albeit more for job security reasons, but that's still a care. And we see through his aggressiveness that he does, on some level, care for the other members as people, at least in what you would need to support your fellow coworkers. If you've not been watching Tamon's B-side, it's genuinely really fun, and it's a really good romance. While it is definitely a romance series, it's not as heavy-handed with the romance aspect of it, at least at the beginning, because they have a lot of setup to do, and because Utage is very aware of her role as a fan and a housekeeper, she is very resistant to wanting to fall in love, so there's a little bit of that kind of push and pull. So it's not like a normal high school romance where they fall in love pretty quick. It's more of not really a slow burn, but slower than some series, considering we're on episode 9 and she just realized that she has feelings. The series focuses a lot on the shenanigans of the boys in Face and how Utage is learning about their behind the scenes persona and who they really are as people. And that is such an interesting story, at least to me. So if you're into that sort of thing, you should definitely watch it. And maybe we can all try our best to get our hands on the manga, because I've heard it's been out of stock. So I'll find a way to read it. But it's been really good, and I hope we get a season 2. I'm gonna be really upset if we don't. Anyway, this is my excuse to yap about Tamon's B-side. You should watch it. It's really good. I know this is a lot bit shorter than the types of videos I usually make, but I have been enjoying doing these shorter yapping about things compared to the longer hour to multi-hour long deep dive kinds of stuff that takes a really long time. So I might be doing more of this sort of thing in the future. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one, whatever that may be. Goodbye!